The United States and Iran make opposing claims about whether they are holding talks. President Trump claims again that this is Iran's last chance.
I want to give them every last chance before decapitation. Very tough to do what we have planned. This is a big move. To do an attack that big on a country, I'd rather not do it. Now, we've already through lots of large attacks, but they were normal large.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sparred with CNN host Dana Bash over the rise in measles cases in the U.S., as well as the media's coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic. The interview grew heated after Kennedy accused Bash of committing press malpractice based on what he said was a failure to challenge public health authorities during the COVID pandemic.
I really want to move on, but
yeah,
you were saying
yes, I were part of the problem.
No, I wasn't part of the problem.
There was absolute press malpractice.
I'm not debating this with you.
Of course you won't.
No, because I'm not debating.
All you know how to do is repeat things that people told you and say, trust the experts. That's what you did during COVID. Now we know that Anthony Fauci, who was the expert, was lying about everything, about masks, about social distancing, about natural immunity, about the transmission from the vaccine, about the source of COVID. He was lying, and you were punishing people for not trusting the experts. And now you're rolling out the experts again to talk about something that you have no personal knowledge of.
So why does the mainstream media continue to back Fauci? Fox News contributor Kaylee McGee White thinks she knows why.
I think the reason why is because if they don't, they also have to admit that they are complicit in the harms done to this country during the pandemic. You saw in that exchange between Dana Bash and RFK Jr. that he pointed out that she really had no idea what she was talking about. She's just parroting things that she wants to believe and that she wants her viewers to believe without any actual evidence to back it up.
In an entertainment landscape often dominated by conflict and drama, reality TV stars are taking a very different route with their latest project. Chris Woodward has more.
Jep and Jessica Robertson, best known for the hit series Duck Dynasty, are stepping back into the spotlight with a new show on Great American Pure Flix titled Jep and Jess, Beyond the Bayou. The unscripted series documents their transition to Texas, where they're building out a 2,400-acre community ranch designed to help families slow down and reconnect with nature and each other. Speaking on Washington Watch, Jessica Robertson shared what she hopes viewers take away from the new series.
We got to kind of take a step back and slow things down a little bit. And being out there at the ranch, I think that's what you get to do. You get to take a deep breath.
Jessica added that a primary goal of the new ranch, which will host short-term rentals, family reunions, and Bible study groups, is encouraging people to put down their devices.
I hope that people can do that with each other. They can actually see the beauty, obviously, of God's creation and actually be able to come together and have that family time and make it a point to get outside and to do something together or just to sit and talk and interact versus being on your phone and scrolling.
For Jeb, this carries a personal legacy tied to his late father, Phil Robertson, and a deeper spiritual purpose.
It's something about being out, I think, just in the outdoors, and it brings you closer to God.
Jeb said fans frequently tell him they appreciate family-friendly entertainment where faith isn't pushed to the side, a focus the couple says remains central to their lives both on and off the screen. I'm Chris Woodward.
And authorities say they've arrested a 37-year-old man suspected of intentionally starting one of the fires burning around Spokane, Washington, which has destroyed at least 700 structures and forced more than 60,000 people to evacuate. More news online at afn.net. I'm Rusty P.
Looking to take the next step in your education? Blue Mountain Christian University offers graduate degree programs designed for working adults who want to grow professionally and personally. With graduate studies in business, education, and kinesiology, BMCU combines academic excellence with a Christian worldview. With flexible and hybrid formats and supportive faculty, you can pursue a graduate degree while balancing work, family, and calling. Learn more at bmc.edu.
Welcome to Real Truth for Today with Pastor Jeff Schreve, Senior Pastor of First Baptist Church in Texarkana, Texas. Now, here's Pastor Jeff.
Well, good Tuesday morning and welcome to Real Truth for Today. Pastor Jeff here. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. James chapter 1, beginning in verse 2. Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. That has been my go-to, those two verses, my go-to whenever I travel by air. Because you're out of control. They tell you what gate, this and that, and things get delayed and weather and stuff like that. So you just have to roll with the punches. Well, I have sitting across the table from me today a dear friend. I've known him for, probably almost 25 years. Denver Bierman. He's the multi-talented frontman, band leader, composer, arranger, lead vocalist, and trumpet player of Denver and the Mile High Orchestra, a Nashville-based horn-driven band known for, I love this phrase, Denver, known for its distinctive power funk sound.
I wonder who wrote that.
Well, this is from AI. I think they said they got it off your website. Well,
there you go.
Did you call it power funk?
No.
Power funk sounds good.
Yeah, well, there you go. AI.
Do you think that's accurate? Is it power funk?
I don't know. I think that I think edgy is probably the word I would probably say. I always felt like our band, my arranging that I was going to write for us to play had a youthful energy to it.
It does.
To a style of music that's timeless.
Yes.
Is the word I would use.
Yes.
Some people would say old. So
no.
I think that I thought we brought an energy and a feel, or we do bring an energy and a feel that's just a little bit unique. And to me, it sounds edgy. I don't know, power. There's some power in it. We do some things that are a little funky and groovy. So, I mean, I think both those words would be accurate and maybe bring an image to people's minds.
Yeah, it's not really Earth, Wind, and Fire sound. It's got some Chicago sound to it.
Absolutely.
Well, I grew up, my dad loved big band. He loved Harry James and Glenn Miller and all those guys.
That's so cool.
And so when I first heard you guys back in probably 2003, you formed the band in 1999. But in 2003, I was introduced to DMHO, Denver and the Mile High Orchestra, and I said, man, I love these guys because you don't hear a lot of horns in a church.
It's true.
It's a lot of guitar and drums and organ and keyboard and vocals and things like that. But as far as just a really solid horn band, you're not going to hear that in most.
What's interesting to me is that many of us in America and all over the world, during school, they would put together bands, and these bands are full of wind instruments: flutes, clarinets, French horns, trombones, trumpets, saxophones. So it's wild that for many of us, we have some experience with these instruments that my band plays, and we have memories attached to them. We have experiences attached to them in some of the more formidable years of our lives. And then we have pop music that has nothing to do with any of it. And so the wild thing for me was I grew up playing the trumpet starting in 6th grade, and I thought, I want to listen to music that has my instrument in it.
Yeah.
I want to listen to music that has the trumpet in it. And I searched, and there wasn't much on pop radio that did.
No.
There was some maybe in Christian music that did, but I had to go to big band music to be able to find where my instrument was featured. And I fell in love with that music at a young age.
Yeah. Well, we were talking yesterday, and so Denver was here at First Baptist Texarkana last night doing an event for us and did a great job. And he plays and sings along with most of your songs and your arrangements. You did Route 66. That's not your song.
No, I do a lot of music that I don't write, but I will find some unique arrangements, either that I write myself or that I find from others, and I love Route 66. It's a great song.
Okay, so you grow up. Who's your trumpet hero as a kid?
There couldn't be just one. I mean, I do love Louis Armstrong. Harry James is probably my most favorite of favorites because he could play high, he could play technically perfect, and he just. He was such an efficient player. But, I mean, there's so many modern people, too, that I love. Leroy Jones, a trumpet player from New Orleans, played a ton on all of Harry Connick Jr.'s records. Even guys that have kind of come on the scene more during the internet year. There's just so many.
Yeah.
When I hear somebody who just plays their heart out and is so good, I know what it takes to try to do that, and it takes so much time. It takes so much focus to perfecting a really, really physically difficult instrument to try to master, and I love them all.
Okay, so I was thinking, we had talked off air. Doyle Dykes is a good friend of mine, and guitar has lots of different styles. So you got the finger style, you got the Eddie Van Halen style, you got all these guys that do different things. And it's pretty hard to find somebody that can do all that stuff.
Of course.
Maybe Tommy Emmanuel's the closest to being able to play all styles. With the trumpet, are there lots of different styles, or if you can play it, can you pretty much play across the board?
Oh, no. The styles are all over the place. I mean, if you think about a band or someone in a symphony orchestra, and they're going to be playing mostly classical music, that is a style all of itself. And it's a very technical style. It's so much of a controlled playing that can be incredibly difficult to do for somebody like me who plays swing music and big band, and we're slurring through these things. We don't have to triple tongue them. Now in classical music, you're not going to have to play a G above high C like ever, but I play like 8 of those a night. So there's certain parts about it. If you do mariachi music, I think that might be the most difficult thing in the world, because they're triple tonguing and they're screaming in the stratosphere. And not only that, they're doing it for like 4 hours at a time. I mean, the guys that I watch online that are playing mariachi, and my jaw just drops. And I'm like, how are they not passed out on the floor?
They have a big head.
Well, they have. It's truly an art. And some of these styles for us, they all come from different parts of the world. Right. They all come from different cultures. And so some of the folks that really do a particular style incredibly well, they've been doing it since they were very little. They've listened to it their whole lives. It's ingrained in who they are. And I love all of it. I really do.
Okay, so it's very evident, Denver, when you sing, your voice is really in tune with like a Dean Martin, a Frank Sinatra. You have that crooner kind of voice. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. Except it's very early in the morning, so mine's probably a Southern gospel bass singer this morning. But I love the crooners. They're my favorite. Yeah.
Your voice just seems to fit that really easily. When you were here last time, you sang that Dean Martin song, Ain't That a Kick in the Head? Yeah. And, I like that old music. You sang Fly Me to the Moon yesterday, and Frank's got so many great songs.
He was the great. One of the things he did the greatest, him and Nat King Cole, in my opinion, is their phrasing, the way that they would sing something. They back in the day, that was truly an art, to be able to sing something that sounded like they were talking to you. We call that phrasing. And I heard once a guy named Dave Boyer, incredible singer, and I was talking to him once, and he was close with Frank Sinatra. And he said, Frank taught me everything I needed to know about phrasing. And I just said, what is that? Like, I mean, I wanted to know, does he hold out things extra long? I was thinking about it from a very technically musical standpoint. And he said, his name's Dave. And he's like, Davey, you got to know the lyric. You got to know the lyric. You got to know it like inside and out. You got to be able to say it and sing it frontwards, backwards, and sideways, and then sing the lyric. It's so simple, and yet it's like, that makes a whole lot of sense, because when you listen to him sing, he could even sing the same line 12 different ways. But however he's experiencing that lyric in that moment, he's expressing exactly what that lyric says in light of his own life. And I really try to emulate that when I sing. I didn't do that in the early parts of my career because I didn't get that advice yet, but that's some really good advice. If we're going to say something to someone, whether we say it in word, in deed, or in song, we need to know what we're saying. Yeah. And we need to believe what we're saying, and we need to live what we're saying.
Well, one thing I notice about people that are exceptional singers or musicians, it never looks, even guys in athletics, it never looks like they're trying hard. It's just so natural to them. And obviously, the trumpet was you picked that up pretty quick, didn't you?
Yeah, but no. I mean, I've really challenged. There might be a tiny handful of the world's population that it just naturally comes to them. The ones that are truly professional to me are the ones that have worked it so hard that it becomes natural, even though it's not natural. There's nothing natural about playing a trumpet. I mean, you might have the perfect shaped lips, which I do not. You might have the perfect sized head. we've talked about and learned
you
about.
said the big head can play the big notes.
Yeah, it really can. The physics of it, the science of it. But that's such a finite amount of people. So the rest of us that try or get to a place where it becomes natural, it's because we've worked it really, really hard. And I want to tell people that. I don't want people to think around, oh, look at that person. They're so magical. It just naturally happened for them. God just gave it to them. God gave us some ability, but we worked hard.
Right.
When you're talking about overcoming and you're talking about endurance and perseverance, this is where life is won and lost. This is where it happens. And it doesn't happen by accident.
Right.
Never happens by accident.
Well, I still remember, and I was watching a clip today from Lee Trevino, and one of the things, the great golfer, Lee said, golf always came easy to me in terms of being able to get the club back to square. And I've said this to a lot of guys that play golf. I said, okay, these pros, I said, they never went through years of stinking. It's just like, I can't hit the club, I can't hit the ball. Sure. I mean, they pick up on that pretty quickly. You and I like to play basketball, and you got like Michael Jordan, the famous story. He got cut from his high school team when he was in 10th grade. But Michael was 6'6", could jump out of the gym. Sure. He has the tools. Now, he had to work real hard. Larry Bird had to work really hard. Yeah. But those guys had tools. You can't make yourself 6'9".
It's true.
Like Larry was.
Right.
But now Larry couldn't jump much.
Right.
And he wasn't fast, but he was quick.
Yeah. He was quick mentally.
Yeah.
He anticipated what people were going to do.
Yeah, he had some great fakes. But I think about that with music. Yes, those guys you had to work. I mean, screaming notes on the trumpet doesn't come just because you want it to.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And in life, there are going to be certain things that God gives us that are going to be more natural for us than others.
Right.
I had a natural tendency to understand music or hear music from a very young age. So that was something that was in my wheelhouse that I didn't even know I had. God just kind of gave it to me.
Okay, and putting together music, because you've written so many scores, putting together that stuff, that comes into your mind pretty easily?
I hear it easily, but putting it together for other people to hear it or to play it did not come easily.
Okay.
I didn't get a lot of formal training in what we call music theory or how to be able to write these things until I got to college.
Okay.
So I'd written songs that you could kind of sing and I could play out on the piano. I could hear things from a very young age, but I didn't know how to translate what I heard to let others be able to be a part of the conversation, to be able to play along with me, how to be able to write these things, what different keys for different instruments are, why those instruments are in different keys, and how to put it all together to make something beautiful. I did not understand that until college, and it was hard. My first 2 years in music theory, I got bad grades because there were certain very basic principles that were not really explained in a way that I could understand. And God was gracious to me in my thick-headedness to be able to learn them eventually. He's like, this boy is not going to make it unless he gets it today. Today's the day.
It amazes me, Denver, how many songs you've written some of those that you've written quickly. Remember you told me, I think when you were playing for the Olympics, you had to come up with another song or something. You wrote it pretty fast. I mean, in a couple days you put that together, and it's a great song. It's not like it's junk.
Right. Creativity, there's no listen, sometimes it hits us in an instant. Sometimes an incredible song takes a year. Creativity is a magical thing that God gave us that there's no time frame to it.
Yeah. That's really cool. Well, we're talking to Denver Bierman, and Denver is the founder, the front man, the heart and soul behind Denver and the Mile High Orchestra, and he's a graduate of Belmont University that's in Nashville?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And incredible talent and his ability to put together music and to put together a band that's just fun to listen to. He loves the Lord. And so when we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about overcoming difficulties, because Denver's had some difficulties in his life, and you don't want to miss it. Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. We'll be right back.
They say when life hands you lemons, make lemonade. But what do you do when it feels like life is throwing the lemons at you full force? That's kind of a funny way to think of it, but there are times when there's so much going on in the world and it's happening so fast, You don't know where to go for answers or for encouragement. The solution for that is simple: American Family Radio. You'll find out what's happening and why, what you can do to take action, and it's all from a biblical perspective. What better way to find hope in the middle of a bombardment of lemons? Over the air or with the app on your phone, tablet, Roku TV, or smart speaker, you have AFR at your fingertips pretty much anywhere. And with the podcasts of each program, you can catch up on anything you missed or listen to it again. If you're new or if you've been with us a long time, visit us today. Stop by afr.net. afr.net.
Middle school can be challenging for both kids and parents. On the next Focus on the Family, former teachers Sue Acuna and Cynthia Tobias share insights into the changes middle schoolers experience, from growth spurts to social pressure. You'll discover ways to communicate better and adapt as they grow. Next time on Focus on the Family with Jim Daly.
Focus on the Family is heard each weekday morning at 5 o'clock Central on American Family Radio.
If we want to be happy, if we want to celebrate, we should do it spiritually. We do this by filling our minds and our hearts with thanksgiving so that our gratitude overflows into songs of praise to the Lord.
Dr. David Jeremiah continues his series, Powerful Principles from Proverbs, next time on Turning Point.
5:30 a.m. and 7 p.m. Central on American Family Radio. It's Truth for Youth Bible Week. We'll give one free Truth for Youth Bible to every student between the ages of 13 and 18 who promises to pass it along to a friend. With it, more than 30,000 young people have come to Christ over the years.
So I tried to commit suicide and I was put in the hospital. One of my friends from school, she came up to me and just started visiting with me at the hospital, and she gave me a Truth for Youth Bible. So I haven't been the same since.
The Truth for Youth Bible consists of the entire New Testament and full-color comics, which present the gospel and moral truths. Parents can order the Bible on behalf of their son or daughter, or teens can call to get one.
We saw so many lives changed and seeds planted in the hearts of our students.
Visit tfy.org anytime or call 800-733-4737. That's 800-733-4737 between 8:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. to order or donate. It's Truth for Youth Bible Week with Revival Fires International. This is Real Truth for Today. Podcasts of the program are available on the podcast page at afr.net. Now, back to Pastor Jeff Schreve.
Welcome back to the program. Pastor Jeff here, talking to my friend Denver Bierman. He is the creator of Denver and the Mile High Orchestra, a horn band that plays hymns and new arrangements and just fun stuff. It's Denver. Your label was Real Loud Records. Wasn't that it?
Yeah, they let me name the label. It was Reed Ribble's label. Our drummer Jared of over 20 years. His family gave us a chance to have a voice in Christian music. I wouldn't know you. I would not have had a career without them. They are some of the most incredible people I've ever known. And so we made, I think, 7 albums together, something like that.
Is that right?
And and so they're like, we're going to start this label, and it's independent. And Denver, what do you want to call it? When does the artist get to name a label? And I said, well, we make really loud music. Let's call it Real Loud.
Yeah.
And they're like, it sounded good.
I think he told me one of the first times that you came to First Baptist Texarkana with your whole band, it's like, this is going to be loud.
Yeah. We used to sell earplugs before people, as people are walking in, they're like 50 cents if you want them, or don't complain when we're so loud.
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, if you have that many, you would have how many trumpets? 4 or 5 trumpets on stage?
I mean, in early days, we were all very young. I mean, you got to think about, we're like 21, 22, 23 years old. We're living our dream. We're traveling around the world and singing and playing. And so I think we were just so excited, and we had all this youthful energy that we were playing. We were just what they call overblowing in our horns. We're just blasting it till the cows come home, right? Yeah. And it was like for a lot of these churches that were built 100 to 120 years ago to be very, very acoustic spaces where there's a piano player and a singer singing. Right. And for everyone in that room to hear it. Yeah. And then you throw a bunch of trumpets playing way too loud with saxophones that are microphoned, with a guitar player with a distorted amp that's, jamming out like Brian Setzer. Like, it was a lot going on, and some people really loved it, and some people really hated it. The best compliment that we ever have gotten in 27 and a half years was at a Christmas concert around 2004, maybe, and we got into intermission, and Eric Kilby, who was our tour manager, as well as our booking agent, as well as our baritone saxophone player, and then he eventually ran sound for us for a long time, and a guy had come up to him at the break, an older gentleman, and at the break, and said, "You're going to have to turn that band down. They are way too loud." And he goes, "Man, I'm so sorry. It's a lot of people." And he goes, "Listen, that band is louder than World War II, and I know because I was in it." And I said, "Boys, we're louder than World War II." And so it was a unique comment.
Okay, so all
respect to anyone in World War II.
We had the Kingdom. What's that group? We the Kingdom?
Yeah, for sure.
So they came here a few years ago, and they were so loud that the plaster started coming off the walls in the back.
We did a concert once, and we were still in the first 3 months of our existence. We did a swing dance at Belmont, and my guitar player, Scott Knight, was just ripping this rockabilly solo. And I literally saw, I don't know if it was an old speaker cabinet that just had an enormous amount of dust, but I saw smoke floating out of the speaker. It's the only time in my entire life that I ever did. And somebody out there has a video of that.
Is that right?
Yeah. A good buddy of mine, Tony, he was our Sunday school teacher. He was there. He goes, Denver, look. And I did. There was smoke coming out of the speaker. But it was like 112, 115 dB. It was insane.
Yeah, well, we had, and I take that back. It might have been King and Country. King and Country has the big drums, right?
Yeah, King and Country is, when you said We the Kingdom, I was instantly thinking, I think he's thinking of King and Country.
Yeah, because we had both of them come.
They have a big sound.
Yeah, big sound. But now the most we've ever recorded on dBs in our worship space, the Gaithers.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Which
Bill's still rocking it out. I love it.
He was on the program the last time they were here about a year or so ago. I had him on the program. I love Bill Gaither. He's just such a cool guy.
And what I love about him is I've always appreciated his straightforwardness. From a professional standpoint, when you're working with him, he's going to tell you exactly like it is.
Yeah.
And as a young artist, sometimes that can be hard to hear,
right?
Because he's honest about it. But listen, I don't know if there's been anyone in our industry or in our realm of Christian music that has had such a profound stretch and influence.
Yes.
And provided so much opportunity for all of us.
Right.
There's this guy, he was a music teacher in the middle of a cornfield in Indiana, and he and his wife are writing music, and they're selling it out of the trunk of their car. Their names are Bill and Gloria Gaither, and just traveling around to these little country churches, and what God has done with all of that, and his determination and his own endurance. I don't know a whole ton about his personal story, but I can tell you this. If you do what I do, or what Bill Gaither has done for decade after decade after decade, it doesn't happen by accident. It's not just because it all just magically is happy, hunky-dory, day in and day out. It's because there's a lot of perseverance going on.
Yeah, you're slugging it out.
And you're slugging it out. Yeah.
I still remember Mark Lowry saying in an interview, he said, I would drive singing these little churches, and he said, I'd barely get enough money for gas.
Yeah.
You had mentioned off air about playing with your whole band, playing at a church, and they didn't pay you at all. They gave you a trumpet and said, well, here, this is your...
We even had a written agreement and everything. Life doesn't always go the way we expect it to, and the way we planned, and we can even make really great, good, godly plans, and in a broken and sinful world, things are not always going to go okay.
Right.
And we got to figure out how to get through it.
Okay, so consider it all joy when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. Two things that come to mind with you, Denver. Number one, if you're going to do what you do, and you're going to be a traveling musician and share the gospel through your music, you have to be willing to travel. And travel is hard, especially in today's world. Air travel is really brutal because you're totally out of control. You're under the mercy of the weather, of the airlines. They'll cancel your flights. You have a delayed flight, and then you miss your other flight. Bags can, with you, if they lose your instrument, you're in hot water. I mean, you got to have that. And have you ever had things damaged with all the travel?
No, I have something that's even worse than that. I did a concert. I was in San Diego, California. This is like 3 years ago, so it's somewhat recent. It wasn't like 25 years ago. We did this concert, and it was on our Christmas tour, so this is December. We were going to be in Louisiana at a church for a Saturday afternoon choir rehearsal and then a Saturday evening Christmas concert as well as a Sunday morning. And so it was a very large weekend for us. This is a very, very large choir. We were very honored to have the opportunity. But because we didn't know about the rehearsal until later after we had booked these other things in California, we realized we're going to have to take a red eye in order to make sure that we're there for the choir rehearsal on time. And the pastor was very critical for us to be there at that rehearsal. So I was like, okay. So I started looking at flights, and there's this flight that leaves LAX at 11:30 at night or whatever it was, and we're going to be able to land in Dallas at this time and then get on another flight to Shreveport, where the church was. So it all looked great, and our show in San Diego gets it on time. And there was only 3 of my guys that were with me in California. We're meeting the rest of the band out here. And so we get to the front of the gate at LAX, and there's nobody there because it's a red eye, right? And the guy just said, if you'd been here 5 minutes ago, I would have checked those bags. And we still have plenty of time before our flight. But he's like, yeah, our guideline here is like 90 minutes or a little bit more than that to be able to check the bags. And you're 5 minutes late. Well, we didn't know that. And I tried offering him cash money. I'm like, I have $300 cash. We didn't know this. There's nobody here. See that gate over there? Like, that's ours. And he wouldn't do it. And he goes, I can reschedule you. And so he's looking at the schedule. He goes, I can get you out of LAX tomorrow afternoon at like 4:45. You'll be in Shreveport by like 11:30 Saturday night. Well, our concert's Saturday night. I'm like, that's not going to work. I have to be on that plane. He goes, well, you will not be on that plane with those bags. And so I looked at the janitor who was cleaning the floors because there's nobody there.
Right.
And I took my suit jacket and my tie, put it in my backpack. I shoved about maybe 20 of my CDs that I could sell, and I scrolled my bags over to that janitor and said, I need you to throw these away from me because I have to be on that plane. I was kind of infuriated.
Yeah, for sure.
The guy's jaw was on the floor because he'd already told TSA, you can close up because these guys won't be on this plane.
Oh, okay.
And so then we had to run outside 3 terminals to the international terminal that was still open for another 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So we could check in and get on that plane.
Goodness.
The ironic part is that we get on the plane that has malfunctions, and we sat on the runway for an hour and a half.
Oh, no.
And and my bags were going to be in the trash somewhere. But that is part of the thing.
Right.
And that was a very frustrating moment. They're not all like that, praise God. But sometimes they are. And you just got to decide what's really important about this situation. What is it that God really wants me to do in this situation?
Yeah.
And then we just go through it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about losing your voice for how many months?
8.5 months I couldn't sing.
This is what year?
2020. It's during the pandemic.
Okay. You, as you told me yesterday, you were singing all the time. Then COVID hit. Then you weren't singing. Everything gets canceled.
Yeah.
So you go months without really singing because you weren't really practicing your voice at that level. You go back to singing. You're not ready. So you're the athlete that tears his hamstring because you weren't in shape.
Yeah, and I didn't know it. I've always kind of sung properly. I was taught properly how to sing, what's healthy for your voice, all of that. So when I went back to it, I didn't think that there was probably anything wrong. I thought I had allergies, but I lost my voice. I couldn't even speak at all. So I texted my brother, who's in the medical industry in Tennessee, and so he got an appointment at Vanderbilt Hospital. So one of the world's most renowned voice doctors. They did about an hour test. He said, you've had major bleeding on your left vocal cord. And so couldn't speak. He didn't.
And this is just like whispering? You can't make noise?
Can't make noise.
Wow.
Nothing.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was terrifying. So he said, if your voice starts coming back, he said, I don't want you to speak for 7 days. You're going to come back here and we're going to do another test to see if it's improved or how it's changed. So I didn't need surgery at that time, but I did need vocal therapy. Around 6 months into my therapy, my voice reverted back to what it was when it first got injured. And that was pretty devastating. I thought I might not ever sing again at that point in time. For about a good 3 or 4 weeks, thought maybe that's really, truly it. And started to ask God, what is it that I need to do? Where is it?
Well, you couldn't speak either.
I could, at that point, I could literally make noise with my voice, but I could not sing a note.
Okay. But still play.
Yeah, you can still play a trumpet because you don't reverberate your vocal cords.
Right.
You're just blowing air through your throat. So I fell back in love with my first love, which was playing my horn, and started inventing new little things for horns to try to make them easier to play. And
yeah.
So God used a really hard situation has made it one of the greatest adventures of my life. But those words that you speak about in James are some of the most precious that we have.
Yeah.
James is not a long book. I think 6 chapters.
Yeah, 5.
He just kind of throws it out there, right? He just kind of says some things pretty blankly, pretty, cold, hard truth kind of stuff.
Right.
And sometimes in life, we need cold, hard truth. Sometimes we just need it said in a way where it's like you strip all the cuteness away, because life can be hard, and we need to know, how do we get through this, and what's lying on the other side for it. And so for me, I went through a season long after I lost my voice of just losing some joy. Like, I was gutting, and our industry has evolved a lot since I started, but even since the pandemic, where we're having to evolve and do things differently in ministry and in music ministry than we've ever done before. And so trying to navigate all that can be somewhat complicated when you're used to doing something for 20 years a certain way. And I think along the way through life, I just had lost some joy. I'd lost some life in me. And I was at this event and I saw these 3 guys. They were veterans, and we were honoring these guys. We were down in South Florida, and these guys had gone through incredible things. Mm-hmm. One was a prisoner of war for over 2 years in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. They'd go into his hut or wherever he was every day and say, today's the day you die. And they would just torture him. Mm-hmm. And I saw this man and 2 other men that had been through horrific things in war. And I saw them worship God. Mm-hmm. I saw them with their families, and there was such a freedom and life in them. And I'm the one leading in the worship, and I'm so mesmerized by what I'm seeing that when the whole thing's done, I'd make a beeline straight for these guys. I'm shaking their hands. I'm looking them dead in the eyes. I want to know, is this like a used car salesman trick, or is this real? It was real, bro. Mm-hmm. It was real. And I walked away from that experience. I'm still in the sanctuary. I'm walking away from these men, and I'm praying to God going, I was probably whispering out loud. I'm like, what's up with that, God? What's up with that? Those guys who have been through things that I could never dream of going through, and the joy that they have, the life that they have, the life that I don't have, what is up with that? Mm. And God said one word to me, perseverance. Mm. Denver, you need to learn how to persevere.
Yeah.
And it sent me to James.
Amen. James 1:12, blessed is the man who perseveres under trial. for afterward he'll find the crown of life. Well, you're listening to Real Truth for Today. Pastor Jeff Schreve here talking to my friend Denver Bierman of Denver and the Mile High Orchestra. And when you hear the music, you know we're up against a break. When we come back, we'll be taking your calls, 888-589-8840. That's 888-589-8840. If you have a question or a comment, we would love to hear from you. And we are talking about overcoming. You know, sometimes we get the idea that these guys on stage that are so talented, they don't have problems. Guess what? They do. And they have to overcome just like you and I have to overcome. But God is faithful and we can trust Him. We'll be right back.
Thoughts of the child you were carrying keep pouring over in your mind. A deep, unrelenting sadness overshadows your days, and you wonder if you will ever feel whole again. There is hope and healing from a reproductive loss. Call the International Helpline, 866-482-LIFE, and talk with someone who has been where you are. Your call is confidential, and we will help you find healing. 866-482-LIFE.
The God Who Speaks is a powerful message on the authority of Scripture in the voices of some of the most respected theologians of our day.
The most historic formula for the Christian church has been this: when the Scripture speaks, God speaks.
The God Who Speaks is a 90-minute documentary which can empower Christians to share our faith and defend the authenticity of the Bible. Available at thegodwhospeaks.org or visit stream.afa.net.
Candace talks about finding out she was pregnant. Thankfully, an ultrasound provided by Preborn allowed her to hear her baby's heartbeat.
The sonogram sealed the deal for me. My baby was like this tiny little spectrum of hope. And I saw his heart beating on the screen. And knowing that there's life growing inside, I mean, that sonogram changed my life. I went from just Candace to Mom. Thank you to everybody that has given these gifts. You guys are giving more than money. You guys are giving love.
Preborn currently has clinics that do not have ultrasound machines. Would you consider a leadership gift and sponsor a machine today? These life-saving machines cost $15,000, more than most centers can afford. Your donation will save countless lives for years to come. Dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/AFR.
On the drive home from a conference, my wife Karen and I got into a petty argument. She claimed that she used to run faster than me. I said, "Honey, you've never run faster than me. Never." Finally, Karen said, "I'll admit I'm wrong if you'll admit I was right." She said, "I'm wrong," and I grinned and said, "You're right." Hi, I'm Jim Scudder with today's Moment in Grace. Disagreements are part of life, even among godly people. In Acts, Paul and Barnabas had such a sharp contention over John Mark that they parted ways. Who was right? Scripture doesn't really say. But even good people can clash because we're still human. So be quick to give grace. We're all a work of progress and all on the same team. For more daily encouragement, visit ingraceradio.com.
If you'd like to contact Pastor Jeff, email pastorjeff@fromhisheart.org. Now, back to Real Truth for Today with Pastor Jeff Schreve.
Welcome back to the program. Pastor Jeff here talking to my friend Denver Bierman. We're talking about overcoming. And key scripture, I had been using James 1, 2 and 3. Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And Denver just shared how the Lord used James 1:12 in his life. Blessed is a man who perseveres under trial, for once he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life which the Lord has promised to those who love him. Now, one of the things that is important to remember that I have to remind myself of often when I'm going through trials is the purpose of our being, of any of us as believers being on the earth, is to be his witnesses. And the best witness for Jesus is the one who's going through a hard time and still trusting him and still praising him. Anybody can praise the Lord when everything's going great. It's during the hard time. It's when the guy at LAX says, I'm not letting you on the plane with your bags, and you're still able to trust the Lord. Now, people get upset. We are human, and you punch us in the face and it hurts. But if we turn that over to the Lord, he gives us grace. And so that is that's such a powerful reminder, because I mean, Jesus, he learned obedience through the things that he suffered, Hebrews 5 verse 8. And so if the Son of God had to go through difficulties like that, we shouldn't think it's strange, as Peter says in 1 Peter 4:12. Don't think it's strange that this difficulty has come upon you as it's like a weird thing.
Right.
That's life.
It is.
And so, Denver, I appreciate you sharing that story. Well, we are going to the phone lines, 888-589-8840. If you have a question or comment, love to hear from you. And Denver, before we get into the calls, I wanted to mention this to you, because you and I both like to play basketball. Although you can still play, I can't really play anymore. But we used to play together when you would come with your band.
Epic adventures.
Epic
Legendary
games. Yes. And you're a big Celtics fan, and I like the Celtics. WNBA. Women's National Basketball Association. I think they forget that the W is there for women's, because now they're having this big, controversy over trans women, which, what is a trans woman? It's a biological man who is deceived into thinking he's a woman. Clay Travis, because of all this stuff that's gone on, Clay Travis, who has a big podcast radio program, he's offered $10 million to the WNBA to play a high school team.
Interesting.
He says, I'll pay you $10 million, win or lose, I'll pay you $10 million, but you let me pick the high school team, and you put your best out there. Put you on the spot. So high school team plays the WNBA. What's the final score?
Boy, I don't know. That's a really, really good question. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me in all this is that I love professional sports. I watch probably more college than professional in every kind of sport that there is. But it's like, in a society where we've come to this place where we've escalated these things to such a high level that we argue over the craziest things, And I'm just going, why can't we all just really enjoy these sports for men and for women and like get along? And it's kind of crazy right now, the way these things escalate in our societies. I don't know what the score would be. I mean, because I've been on both sides of this. I tried to play basketball. I was not very naturally talented, but I worked really hard. I played in high school. We would play pickup ball at 5:30 in the mornings on Tuesdays and Thursdays at First Baptist Hendersonville. I did that for probably like 15 years. And we had a female come and play with us. She played in the Pac-12 in the late 80s. She was extremely short. She was the wife of one of the pastors. She's an incredibly good ball player. She could score on us. She was quick. So there's really, really talented players out there on every side of the ball. But I just don't understand why the WNBA, why some of these people keep fighting amongst themselves. I think that's the part that really kind of bothers me with it. Yeah. I'm not trying to be critical, but it's like we can really get along and be competitive, and really we can all enjoy this great sport together instead of making it so divisive.
Yeah, well, I'm very partial to men are bigger, stronger, faster. They can jump. Women aren't known for their jumping ability.
True.
How many people in the WNBA are dunking? How many people in the NBA are dunking? Pretty much anybody in the NBA. If you can't dunk, you're probably not playing in the NBA.
Well, I'm not playing in the NBA, and I couldn't dunk, so there you go.
So I think it would be extremely lopsided. You get some high school guys that are quick and they can press, and it would be difficult for them. Well, we're going to the phone lines, 888-589-8840, and we have Elvis on the line from Arkansas. Elvis, welcome to Real Truth for Today.
Thank you very much. Hey, Denver, I just want to do a couple of, it's always a pleasure.
That's good.
And
that's good.
So I want to touch on a couple of notes before I ask the real question. But when I was 8 years old, my father-in-law or my stepfather used to play in a big band in Phoenix called Giovanni's. And we had no idea that this man was going to show up. And lo and behold, it was Buddy Rich.
Wow.
And I had the pleasure at 8 years old of meeting that man. He was kind. He inspired me to play music. I started playing guitar at the age of 14. I am now 60. I'm pretty good at it, but now I've also ventured into playing mediocre keyboard, and at the age of 60, I'm now starting to play drums. But
love it.
My question for you, Denver, is when I get stressed out or I have anxiety, I go to the instrument. Is that the way you feel?
Yeah, in some ways, yes. For me, when I get really stressed out, because I build a lot of these horns now, I will work on the horns themselves. If we can find something in our lives that really can refocus our mind from our stress, that's the most important thing. And I think for some of us as musicians, because we have such a close emotional tie to the music that we get the chance to play, music can be an incredible outlet for us to begin to do what Romans kind of says. Don't be conformed to the patterns of this world. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Mm-hmm. It's when we can start to focus our brains in a different direction that is more helpful, that is more productive, that can be a source of stress relief for us in a really godly way. These are great things. So you're exactly right. Like if we can, playing music will always be one of these places for me that is a place of respite. When I get too stressed out, I usually write songs. I got to get the stress out, so I got to write about it.
Well, you think about David. David did a lot of that. I mean, Psalms are all his writings and
absolutely
pouring out his heart to the Lord.
Absolutely.
And would sing that. All right, Elvis. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for calling in. We have Dennis on the line from Missouri. Dennis, welcome to Real Truth for Today.
Well, good morning, Pastor, and good morning to your guest. I love listening to you.
Thank you, brother.
Whenever I get to you. And my question may seem kind of silly in some ways. I love old music. My mom was raised during the Depression, and she had these albums of Glenn Miller and all those from World War II and different ones. And I love the big band music. I like to listen to it. My question is it sinful to listen to that music?
No, it's not sinful at all. Like, there's so many things in our lives that can be sinful if we intend them to be sinful. So when I listen to a lot of that music, it brings so much joy. It puts a smile on my face, and much of it is very, very uplifting. There's been a lot of things culturally. I can remember when playing a pinball machine was considered a sinful thing. Mm-hmm. There are certain things culturally that might be considered, but I can't really see anything in Scripture that tells me specifically about that style of music that it's just inherently sinful. People have written it in an sinful way before, mm-hmm. but people have written it in a very uplifting way before too. It's just like anything in our lives. We can kind of twist it and turn it and manipulate it to be something ungodly, but I don't experience big band music that way.
Yeah, I don't either. I got to ask you this, Denver. So, when rock music came in and the rock bands and all that stuff, and you guys were learning guitar and drums and keyboard, and then we got away from big band, and so people weren't learning to play the trumpet like that. And you're playing bands in school, which is totally different than the Harry James band or the Doc Severinsen band or anything like that. Now, I personally, because there are not a lot of those guys that could play like that, I always gravitated toward that because I was like,
it's unique.
Because I see a ton of guys that can do the drums and the guitar, and granted, they're talented, but those guys that can scream on the trumpet, there weren't a lot of them.
Yeah. It's not easy. Not easy to do it. It's I could get into the science of it, but Yeah, I mean, it's like climbing Mount Everest. You know, there's thin air up there, and so when you're having to create a vibration, which is what sound is, that is so small and finite but energized, it's a sound wave that's intensely fast, and it takes an incredible amount of energy to do that, and to be able to resonate on a tone like that. It's not easy for anybody to do. Some guys might be able to do it physically a little more easier than others. I've been trying to find ways to make it a little bit easier for all of us to do it.
Right.
Yeah, it's rarefied air up there.
Okay, so you mentioned Harry James. He has a video where he plays Flight of the Bumblebee, which is so incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to do that?
I've tried. I don't play it as good as he does. I can get clips of it, but I think what's so amazing about him was that he had this. He was considered what we would call a virtuoso. There was a very virtuosity about him. This is a kind of playing that's very flamboyant. It's kind of over the top, but he does it to perfection. Alan Vizzuti is a modern trumpet player who is like Harry James. He can take these very technical aspects to playing the instrument, along with these very kind of just crazy, insanely high ranges, and kind of marry those two worlds together. It's like you're taking some hints of classical music along with hints of some commercial music, and you're kind of making something very unique. And when you do it perfectly, like these guys do it,
right,
your jaw's on the floor. It's like, man, there's nothing like that.
It's unbelievable. If you've never seen that, go to YouTube and do Harry James Flight of the Bumblebee, and you're like, how in the world can somebody... And is he double and triple tonguing that stuff? How's he doing that?
Yeah, there's going to be some sections where he's double and triple tonguing. This Alan Vizzuti gentleman that we have now, he can play Flight of the Bumblebee, and he can do it without taking a breath. You know, it's called circular breathing. I've seen this man do this, and he does it in the stratosphere, and it's just amazing.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Dennis. I appreciate you. We have Tom on the line, our friend Tom from First Baptist Texarkana. And Tom, welcome to the program.
Hi, good morning, Pastor. And I really appreciate your vast variety of information that you have on your program every week. But my question is what is the intent with designing your own instruments? And like I'll make the reference to Wagnerian horns. I designed and built string instruments for quite a while, and I know that there were a lot of decisions made on like what tones you were trying to get as to what the materials were. So are you shooting for something specific, or are these more like just kind of fun sculptural kind of endeavors?
No, I am going for some specific things. More it's about maybe the ease of playing them, especially in the brass world where we have what we call back pressure in some of these places where we're playing in extreme ranges, whether it's extremely low like a sousaphone or extremely high like a piccolo trumpet. And so I'm trying to find scientifically ways and metals that we can use to make some of these jobs a little bit easier. Our designs in the brass world have not shaped, the physical shapes of the instruments matter for how the vibrations flow through them. And so there's nothing wrong with the way the standard has been for the last 120 years. But I've been experimenting and doing some things that have made it easier for me. But, it's just like any of us that pick up an instrument. The shape of my lips are different than the shape of Pastor Jeff's lips, which are different than yours. And so a lot of these things that are very personal to us matter. We've been all taught mostly a certain specific way of playing because it's a foundational way that we can all play these instruments. But due to the nuances of our own physical bodies, some of those things are more attainable for us than others. And so what I think I've found is that we can make these horns more specific to the way we play. We can find our best player when we play them.
Yeah, amen. Good question, Tom. Well, I'm sorry, Linda and Joe, we've run out of time. I appreciate you calling into the program. And Denver, I appreciate you being here and coming last night and playing for our crowd. And man, it's just cool to have that long friendship that we've enjoyed over these almost 25 years.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, we wish you all the best and your wonderful wife and 2 kids. Well, thanks for listening to Real Truth for today. Pastor Jeff Schreve here. I'll be with you again tomorrow. Go out today, shine for Christ, and share what great things the Lord has done for you. And know this, God will use you as His witness. God bless you.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily